The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And of course, the most important thing is that you're here when I'm here at the appointed time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have today? Well, pretty much what I suspected earlier in the day. And that was that we were probably going to see the spies. Let's see what we have here. Okay, got a couple emails. Probably we're going to see about what we had here. As I said earlier in the week, I was looking for something between 4,400 and 4,450. That's kind of narrowed in. We're kind of on the high side of that right now. The spies have a little bit more narrow prediction. We're on the very high side of pretty much all of them, which would suggest maybe a slightly lower close tomorrow. Again, we'll go into the sit rep here. The A team is gone. Everybody, I've talked to my nephew in Manhattan, and he works out on Long Island, and they're all out there headed for the Hamptons to open up their homes for the summer and get started. And the traffic's already there. So we've got the A team and the B team is in. Their job is to keep the market rather subdued. We're not probably going to see a lot of action, I suspect, in the next day. In fact, probably 80% of the action will be over by the close. We may have a few things going on. As I said, the options are fairly narrow in the SPYs, pointing to 440 to 442. So we're what 440, 445, 442.50. As I said, kind of on the high end. So maybe we've got a little bit of a pullback tomorrow. I'll continue. In fact, I was running the data just as the show started, so I'll look at that after the break. But they're just, what did I put that in at 420, and that's not right. It should be 440. Let's do that right so I don't confuse everybody. To 442. There we go. We get that correct. A lot of people probably having a small heart attack at the moment and wondering what I was talking about. But that's kind of it. So probably most of the action's over today. You don't want to be short a quiet market. Market's going up a little bit. But as we said on Monday, if you are bullish, what you wanted to see is a light volume close lower into tomorrow, not starting to see when the A team is gone and the B team took over this morning, that there's a low volume climb into Thursday's close. Of course, Friday the market is kaput. It is closed. So we're going to have a 3-day weekend. A lot of times the characters of the market do change. We're going to go through a bunch of charts today, and a lot of them tell us a couple of stories. One is the flight to safety. The other one are stocks that are just going straight up, but they're starting to give some, even the ones that are doing well are starting to give some signals out there. We've got some things like GDXJ that look like they did decide to jump the creek today. So we'll take a look at that. But for the moment, don't expect a whole lot. There's an 80% or 80, I'll look at it probably before the close today. options are pointing for an 80 to 85. I'm thinking it's leaning more to 85% of a move between 440 and 442. They are honing in on that unless we get a big surprise that the market makers and the B team can't handle. Look for lower volatility. Okay, we got a question. Okay, in the newsletter this morning, you said you kind of pointed this out, Jim says, and I'd like to know what you do out here. Well, generally, if I know the market's just going to go up slightly, and especially if we're going into a 3-day weekend, my favorite thing to do, if I can sit in front of a machine and not have to go away, is just park a short order on UXVW and watch it decay, because it's going to probably decay all the way into the close tomorrow. All we have to do is go nowhere. And one of the few trades, UVXY, right? One of the few trades that you can just sit on your hands and see decay into it. Looked like more like a $15 close early in the week, but those can fade fairly quickly, especially when you're going into a 3-day weekend. They will continually start pulling out the premiums in those, and they'll go very quickly. So as we said on Tuesday's show, which was yesterday, if you live in Lutz, was that we covered all our shorts into Monday's close. And yeah, did you get a little bit of a bounce yesterday? Yeah, but I'm not trying to get the last minute. In fact, I tried to start a story yesterday and didn't get finished, so we'll finish it here today, and then we'll move on. But early in, I want to say 2000, Tom had a guest host on, and this was a guy that had gone long, I want to say wheat. It had about $50,000 worth of contracts. It went to about $1.5 million. And he was sitting there going, you know what, I probably ought to sell, but I'm going to give it one more day. Well, the next 7 or 8 or 9 days, it closed lock limit down. He ended up losing $25,000. So, as always, although I didn't hear it for a couple of years later till I bumped into a options trader that worked the floors of the Chicago exchange. Sell when you can, not when you have to. You don't want to be a pig. You don't want to be the last guy trying to get it, because sometimes the markets close, sometimes happen. If you're going for the last 2 or 3% of a trade, you're probably going to end up getting burnt more times than you get the other side of that trade. So once it hits your targets, just go ahead. You've got your plan, trade your plan, and get out of it. But, yeah, one guy's massive defeat was a great lesson for me to know that when you got a lot of cash and you get that little kind of voice in the back of your head that says, I better take my money now, you probably should. We'll be back.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month, and try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
As we come back, let's do a little history, and then we'll move on to a bunch of charts and questions we already have coming on. And probably the first one is, let's do a little history.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2000, heavy metal group Metallica sues Napster, alleging copyright infringement and racketeering. The lawsuit, later joined by Dr. Dre, as well as other lawsuits from the IRAA, eventually caused the original Napster service to shut down and file bankruptcy. However, the Pandora's box that Napster opened would not be closed, and digital distribution changed the music forever. Apple's foray into the being able to buy single songs instead of the entire album also changed the metrics. It was kind of although it had been on in the wane since the early 80s, album-oriented rock, as it was known in some FM stations, kind of really, that was the highlight of it. They used to play entire records at midnight. I used to put them on cassette and listen to them later. As I went to bed, and just put an hour on there and then listen to it on the way to work the next day, or that kind of stuff. But that kind of waned. And of course, when you can buy a single song for 99 cents, the chances you buying more are not very high. And of course, basically the music industry is collapsed, or at least the recording industry has, for the most part, collapsed. The only people making a lot of cash these days tend to not be the singers of the show, unless they're out doing concerts, and that's where they make their money these days. And of course, the other people making money are the people that actually wrote the music or the lyrics, who are cleaning up fairly well, mostly on advertisements, because they're getting the lion's share of that. But Apple single songs really changed the market for forever, and probably not for the better. But that's it. 877-927-6648. Next question. I do not have an answer for because I sent a response back. And let's take a look. Is there a play in Veru? Don't know enough about why this stock actually popped. I don't short stocks below $30, so this would be a no-fly zone for me to begin with. I don't know much about it. Let's go ahead and bring up this. It's a oncology biopharma stock. Again, an easy way to go to the poorhouse is shorting stocks under $30. Just statistically over time, you're just asking to get drummed out of existence. You got a lot of shorts in this from that big day up. What do you have? That's about probably 30. What I'm going to call it? I'm going to call it probably 80 million shares short on that day. Until all the shorts go away, I wouldn't even contemplate it with your money, and I wouldn't be short with my money either. But a lot of better things out today, and we're gonna look at them. Yeah, not a whole lot in that I see. Much better stuff out here, and we're going to go through it. 877-927-6648. Why don't we just go through it? A lot of these stocks out here are giving us some signals. As I said, probably not a lot going on. Doesn't mean it's time to goof off or leave the markets. You're really starting, the time you spend today looking at charts and tomorrow, or maybe even over the weekend, are going to be well paid off next week if you know the lay of the land. I've got something covering that little thing here, so thank you. Let's go to Michael. How you doing today, Michael?
Yeah, hi. I'm calling from Niagara Falls. I'm actually conducting a wellness check. What is the status of Joe DiNapoli?
I thought he was fine. I haven't heard anything. Have you heard something different?
Well, he was talking smoothly in the interview with Larry Pesavento, and then suddenly he was off the air. Is there any way you can reach out to DiNapoli and have him come on your show to complete his interview that he had arranged with Larry Pesavento?
No, he's mad at me.
Why?
I did something early on, and he doesn't like it with it. But I actually put together a system that automatically, in the art of timing the trade charts, does the confluence levels. And first of all, he told me it couldn't be done. And then after I did it, he wrote some software that kind of did the same thing. So we don't talk a lot anymore.
Okay, but, so you violated the intellectual property rights of his original software. I see. Okay.
No, I did not.
So for the record, TFNN never censored him. And
what's that?
Basically pulled the plug and left Larry on air by himself.
I have no idea about that. I doubt it. I don't see any reason why they would have pulled it. Was that today?
Yeah, because if you look at what he was talking, he was getting very political.
I mean, I have no idea on this guy, what's going on. No, and I resent the claim that you made that we violated his intellectual property rights. I don't know where you got that. You got a bone to pick or something? What's going on here today?
Hi, hello?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. To Dave in Framingham. How you doing today, Dave?
Oh, good, good. Can you take a look at CX here, see if it's where it's going?
Okay. Speaking of this, you've got cement, which is weird that I had a dream about cement last night.
No kidding.
No, it was because I was listening to the news and they were talking about the percentage of CO2 gases in the atmosphere before I went to bed, and then I had a dream about it.
Okay.
You came down on very heavy volume, and of course, interest rates are going higher. And so you came down. What you didn't have is you got into the previous low with about the same volume. Are you long or short this thing already,
no,
or what?
I'm not in it. I was just looking at it, and I'm wondering if it could get back up to the 5 area or something, maybe.
Okay, let's talk about this when we come back.
Yeah, I'll be right here.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other tigers and tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
As we return, hopefully we've got Dave from Framingham still on.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay. Anyway, to go back, yes, I had a dream about it because I was listening to a podcast where they poke holes in a lot of dubious stories. And one of those stories was how much greenhouse gases come from cement, Portland cement, and all the other stuff used in concrete. And apparently there is a decent amount of it. One thing, though, is us changing our habits not going to do much. Apparently, 80% or 90% of that is in China. So they apparently don't do it as well as we do and don't have a lot of EPA issues. So, yeah, it was just about like everything that we know right now, which is 90% of greenhouse gases come from India and China. So whatever we do here, not going to have a gigantic effect. But that's why I had a dream about it last night. I thought it was interesting. Now, on this side, it did come down with fairly significant energy here if you are watching my charts anywhere else. And it was about, I'm going to say about 30% more energy on the way down. What you didn't do is get into the low and actually have higher. Actually did come down with it. I'm going to say 4 million shares lighter. But you came down on heavier energy, which generally means that you're probably going to have to base out for a while. Even though it came down, even though it tested on a lighter volume, it's going to consolidate. So where is your target if this thing does bounce one more time, come back and even, let's say, on like 7 or 8 million shares and still hold $4, $4.40, something like that?
Yeah.
The aforementioned automatic confluence levels that I developed for the art of timing the trade charts would show them at 594 to 616. But just because you hit a low does not mean you're going higher. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So maybe this thing bases out for a little while. But higher interest rates, at least for this company, which sells most of its stuff here in the Western Hemisphere, probably going to be problematic for a while. If you're not if you're not using and making cement blocks and pouring pads for new houses because of higher interest rates, it's probably going to be a while. But if things get better, or if things change, and it can hold that level, $6 is your target. Are you watching on Tiger TV?
Yes, I am, yeah.
Okay. So you see this area that I'm got my mouse over?
Right.
Okay. So that's kind of it. That's not a huge move back. That's just a really kind of a 382 of this bigger move down off of the 909 high, June 25th. Still would be a good trade, but coming down on volume, what I like to do is have the story be the same.
Right.
If you came down on light volume on April 11th, 4 million shares is lighter. But if it would have been like half the volume on that test of the previous low, then sometimes you can get a V bottom. But more likely you come down on energy, the volume isn't half, you're probably going to consolidate for a little while. And maybe it takes a week, maybe it takes a month. Maybe you just get a dead cat bounce to $6, which is still a bit trade. Are you in this right now?
No, not yet.
Okay. So I can't see any reason to dive in. We're going to go through a bunch of more charts here. And you see that a lot of them are just hanging up here at the highs. It reminds me of a tooth in a 6-year-old's head that's just kind of bobbing and weaving, waiting to fall out of their mouth. So we're going to go through a lot of those here, as I said. Okay.
Okay. All right, David. I guess I'll just watch it here. And should I?
Yeah, I'm not in a big hurry to get long anything out here. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I think May may be your first week in May may be your first opportunity to think about being long again.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You bet. So let's go back through these, and we'll go through them as fast as I can because I have a ton of them. As I said, we've got a lot of really big moves higher, and confluence levels are going to be probably tested. Now, as I've talked a lot, how much I like the 3x3 better than the 9-day moving average, although it's fairly close. I do want to show you, I think it was this chart where I can go to the 9-day. And this is why. Generally, you can still close above the 9-day and then not gap down. But if I use the 3x3 of the displaced moving average, if it closes, you are probably about twice as likely, although I'm not going to give that like a 90%. I'm going to say from 50% to probably 60, 65% chance of getting a fairly decent gap lower if you close below that 3x3. Now, ideally, what you'd have is a few days higher, back up to maybe 168 or something, and then the next close underneath that would be a double repo pattern. Double repo pattern is 10 to 15 days above the 3x3. A close below it, a couple of days generally below it, a couple of days above it, and then the next move down is the big move. So when we have this set up here, I think it's setting up to move from probably 168 back down to about 148. But probably very good support at 146 and 148-ish. Okay. One ABC still hasn't closed below. These are the stocks everybody are driving into in a sense of security. I think they're all getting ready to break, and which means that we're probably going to have all the stocks being thrown out with the bathwater. Everybody runs to the back of the Titanic as it's sinking. The only difference is it's just going to sink a little later if I am right on a lower system here. What else we have? ABM to down. Okay. Marin, as I said, a lot of these stocks that are the safety stocks, like utilities and stuff, look like they've started to make some highs. On this one, it could get back to 90 without any problem. May hit 100 before it does that, but support is right around that $90 level. And everybody flooding into the same thing. A lot of stocks like Clorox, that kind of stuff, Procter & Gamble, everybody's been running into for the last week or two, driving them up. But eventually they're all going to turn south if my prediction of the low 4,100 is correct on the S&P. We'll be back in a minute.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
And see, Rick says, for years I bought dogs. I guess I'm a dog catcher, made great money on these dogs. My new dog that will run is AT&T. What do you think? A lot of these stocks are okay. The history of stocks, though, that pay dividends from people that buy them are dividends is you get about halfway into a recession and they give up on the dividend and they drop one big day. Not only you lose the dividend, you lose the price of the stock too. So I'm not a big fan. The ones that I do like are like Ameren and those other ones where they do tend to keep their dividend no matter what. I'm trying to remember if any stocks like that actually lost their dividend, and they didn't. Or I can't remember that they did. But a lot of other people buy other stocks and say, well, it's got a great dividend. And 9 months into the recession, they take the dividend out and you lose everything anyway. So if you're going to get a safety stock and you're going to get one for a dividend, you got to have one that no matter what, short of nuclear war, they are not going to drop that dividend. So again, I'm more willing to take a short position or put my money under the mattress or buy gold or something other than buy stocks for a dividend. Okay, let's see what else do we have. Question today, do we close at highs? And I guess the question is for today, or are we talking about Thursday's close? See, because I think today, we could close above. I'm looking at the options on the SPYs because they're probably the best. And could you close at 443 or something like that? I think you could. But again, I'm not thinking you close at 445 or anything on the SPYs. I think maybe this is where fairly extensive resistance is, and tomorrow we will probably, like I said, probably an 80% chance that we close between 440 and 442. There's a very high probability about that. So I think most of the actions over today, maybe you get a little bit of a pullback tomorrow. Today, maybe into the close, you get a few people that were short that go ahead and take their cash a little early. But tomorrow, all you're going to have is light volume. So maybe you hold up here. But again, I think we're playing for pennies over the next trading day compared to the big dollars that we're going to be playing next week if we go up like this on a very light volume. In fact, at 1 o'clock, we had extremely light volume. So back to the question on this. Again, if you're talking about a trade for AT&T, don't really care in the short term if you're buying it for a bounce. But when we get into some kind of a long, protracted transitory recession, which will probably be the next thing that Powell talks about. It's just transitory, this recession. Probably normally the end of the recession comes when these big companies give it all up. And what I'm talking about is the dividend. Yeah, I'm just more than willing to sit back and wait for a big thing. The Noog Man from yesterday says 3 star, not an extra. I know that. Okay. But he was hilarious. Yes, he was. Love the Noog Man. Okay. What else do we have? Oh, let's go back to some other charts. I'll run through these as fast as I can. Little close under Arthur Gallagher. Along a lot of these stocks have just run. This one's up $35. You may get a close under the 3x3. Again, you may need a 3, 4, 5 days for this thing to maybe set up a double repo, but then you could set up a retracement on this to 172-ish. Amgen, a lot of these biotechs are looking just about like this. They're just kind of running out of steam, so you're looking for a pullback on that one. Not too bad, maybe 240-ish on a pullback. AstraZeneca, another biotech out here, did gap down. You didn't have any warning on that. What you'd love is a close back above 70 and then a move lower. And generally those lows come back with a big candle. So you kind of have to be there beforehand, but we'll talk about that next week. But if you get a couple of days up, maybe tomorrow, you get above that 3x3 displaced moving average, the next close below it, generally close, 50 cents underneath it or something, and then the next day you get the big gap lower. BCE, another one, trying to hold this, but you got like 15 days straight up above it. And again, if you look at the 3x3, the way it is everywhere else, you get, a bunch of days below it, and then a few days below it, and a few days above it, and you get the trend, but it's very noisy. When you get everything on one side of these, probably the best description of a parabolic market. Hershey, I looked at earlier today, another one like this. This is set up for a very nice confluence move back to 206 to 204. In fact, if you're unfamiliar with confluence zones, probably the best thing to do is pick up Tom's book and read through it. But simply, you take 2 different Fibonacci levels and get the 618 of one and the 382 of another. And if they're incredibly thin, as this one is right here on Hershey, they point to a very high likelihood that's where a stock is coming back. If you like Fibonacci's, you're going to like it. I think they're 4 times better when you put 2 of them together. I don't spend a lot of time on individual Fibonacci's, but I do love it. When you get $1, which is like 0.5% on Hershey here, you've got a very nice setup out here, and could you get 205 to 206 on this thing on a pullback? Not a problem, and I especially think so across the summer. So I do like it. I looked at it earlier in the day. It's one of the better looking long-term pullback candidates, and this thing goes sideways for a couple of days. The puts go to everybody being bored, and I see the premiums drop by about half at about 225, 224, something up there. I get a nice pattern. I'll go ahead and pull the trigger and probably buy something like the 220s on the puts. So yeah, I do like that setup. Boyle, another one up at the top. I have my okay. Just hot at Easter. Of course, that melts chocolate, doesn't it? ProShares natural gas. You've got a double gap that goes right at here at $90. Maybe you see that in the next day or so. Volume is not all that exciting, but you're at pretty significant resistance, and seasonality is against you.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And as we come back, a light volume bounce in the markets is developing. We only have about 7.4 billion shares. As I said earlier in the week, if you're bullish, you wanted to see the market probably go down with lighter volume into Thursday. If you're bearish, you probably wanted a little bit of a pop. I'm seeing a lot of patterns. We'll go through more of these tomorrow. So you want to be there or be square, and we'll go through a few more of these. But I got a couple hundred of them. They're all kind of this pattern where they're kind of all straight up and straight down. But volume's about half on a lot of these today. And they're not going to fall apart tomorrow, so you don't need to short them. We may have a little bit of a pullback. As I said, I'm only looking for 440 to 442 for a range tomorrow. Maybe we get a surprise, but I doubt it. Anything higher, I'm going to enjoy it. I think by next Wednesday, I'll probably be short again. I don't know what's going on. But we just have a ton of stocks out here, especially the safety stocks. That are hitting highs and not having any volume. Like I said, we'll go through a great more of them, but just look at Hormel that had 2.8 million shares back at its previous high on March 7th. You got up to that with 1.8 million shares. The energy off that March 15th low was off by about 25% on the move higher. So is this a stock that I'm wanting to short? Probably not. But it's telling you that even the stocks that are people are trying to find places to shove cash in their mattress, under the mattress, on the side of the mattress, everywhere else problematic. You also see GDXJ, as we were talking, that it was waiting to jump the creek. You got kind of that. It's even going through this gap. It's telling you that people are worried. They're starting to get worried and hiding out in other stocks, but they are not short. That tells me that we have not made a significant low in the market. There still is a lot lower to be found. So when you can, not when you have to. We will return tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.